You want to section your hair off into 4 quads. You're splitting the head in half this way and starting right behind the ear, splitting it in half that way. That will leave you with 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the section we're going to work on today. I'm just going to use a semi-permanent hair color to show you so you can see. The first thing that we're going to do is outline our quad. And that just means going over the outside of that quadrant. And usually I'll go ahead and outline all 4 quads. The hairline tends to be the most resistant, especially if it's gray. So that will help with that and also help keep these separated so your work can be neat. Now we're gonna take this section and break it into subsections, going like this. And this one's gonna be super tiny because it's the very tip of the triangle. Taking a very thin subsection and you're painting this on, laying it up. Another thin subsection. You should be able to read through this. It should be so thin. And this should be kind of saturated because you outlined your quad, but go ahead and do it again anyway. And you're just kind of painting by numbers. You're seeing where that root is and covering it up. I like to stagger it a little bit or even brush up to avoid that harsh line when you're compacting hair color. If you do just a straight line, it may leave a darker ring, but you can refresh the ends, which we'll get into in a little bit. Continue going down with these diagonal subsections, painting the top, painting the bottom, and see how it has these little air pockets. It's not smushed down like this. We want our hair color to have air, to breathe, to oxidize. So taking your time and just kind of laying it this way. And the reason we do our subsections this way instead of horizontal, this way will prevent harsh lines. So it helps blend it all together. Another super thin subsection, you can paint it down like this. It should be thin enough where the hair color is penetrating through. So when you lift it up, there's not much to do. So you can lay it down to get that air pocket. So once you've done the whole quad, you can just lay this back down. Hopefully it's keeping some sort of air pocket. And you can again go over the quad to separate it. This will smush it together a bit, but it'll keep it all separated. And then you'd go through and repeat this on the remaining 3 quads. If you're starting in the back, you want to do the back 2 quads first versus a back and a front, or vice versa. If you're starting in the front, you need to do these 2 quads first. That way they're processing at about the same time. Most people start in the front just because that's what you can see. A lot of gray kind of happens right here. It's really your preference. Processing time will start as soon as you're done. When the brush is down, you can start the clock. Now, if you wanted to refresh this, you're doing your roots, let's say darker in this case, you don't want to bring hair color all the way down because then you're compacting. Let's just say this is permanent hair color. You're compacting. We've talked about this before, but when you compact permanent hair color, it makes it look darker. So we're trying to avoid that because then the roots wouldn't match at all. What you can do is in the last 5 to 10 minutes of this processing, you can take your hair color formulation that you're using for the roots. So let's just say it's a 5 in 20 volume because you have grays. Mix it with 50% warm water. And then when you have 10 minutes left, you're gonna put gloves on and kind of run it through the ends. That's gonna give you a nice color refresh without compacting on straight permanent hair color. And just make sure the water that you're mixing with the hair color is warm so it can really get in here. You can take a wide tooth comb to blend these together if you want, or just use your hands to blend the 2 colors. But that will help refresh your ends if they've faded a little bit.